G'day, I'm Don McIntyre, and at the moment I'm on my boat in the Kingdom of Tonga in the South Pacific, out the front of the Royal Namuka Yacht Club. That's the host club for what we're calling the Ocean Globe Race. It's a 50th anniversary celebration of the very first Whitbread round the world race. Now, some may not even remember that. I think you'll all know about the Volvo race, and that's now transitioning into the ocean race. But at the very beginning, 1973, it was all about the Whitbread. And it was at a time that was a lot simpler. The boats were pretty ordinary, you might say. In fact, it was the first ever fully crewed round the world race, and it evolved from the clipper ships. Clipper ships, the big square riggers, used to leave Europe, sail down to Australia, fill up with grain and so on, and then race all the way back to Europe as quick as they could to sell their cargoes and so on. And that sparked the idea for Sir Francis Chichester to actually do a voyage, a similar voyage, one stop, and try and beat their speed. He went around, of course, didn't beat them, they were too hard to catch, but it was a huge success, and Sir Francis Chichester became a household name all around the world. That then started people like Robert Knox Johnson and Bernard Matessier and Donald Crowhurst and many others thinking that, wow, the only thing left to do was a solo non-stop round the world. And that evolved into what's called the Golden Globe Race. Now, we've just finished running the 50th anniversary edition of the Golden Globe. That was started in 2018. It was a huge success for the sailors. The first edition in 1968 only had 9 starters with 1 finisher, which was Sir Haley. We set off with 18 starters and we had 5 finishers. Okay, it was a huge epic. You may have heard about it, plenty online all about it. And now we're going to do the same thing with the 50th anniversary of the Whitbread. Why are we doing it? Basically, it's bringing it back to the people, all right? The Volvo race, I've followed virtually every Whitbread race, every Volvo race, and I'll continue to do that with the ocean race. Fantastic event, great sailors, the best of the best. They're the elite professionals, you know, you don't get any better. The technology is mind-boggling. The problem is that it's very expensive and not everyone can make it to the Olympics, all right? So that means for the last 30 years, any sailor anywhere in the world, whoever wanted to race around the world, hasn't had an opportunity. And you know, I'm a great supporter of adventure. I think adventure is a very good thing for the world and people and so on. And so we're giving it back, and we're taking you back to simple boats, simple challenges, and very low tech to keep the price down, but also up the ante on the challenge and the adventure. You know, this is really human. It's very ordinary. So what's it mean for the race? First of all, we're following the clipper ship routes. It's going to be starting in Europe on September the 10th, 2023. It'll then sail down to Africa, okay? That's the first leg. There'll be a 2 or 3 week stopover there. Then from Africa, it goes across to Australasia. It could be stopping in Australia or New Zealand for another few weeks. And then from there, we go around Cape Horn and head up to South America. Another stopover, and then the final blast back to Europe. So the course is simple. The boats are the same. We're going to make 3 classes, okay, and they're all named after the original Whitbread entrance. First one is the Adventure class. That's named after a Royal Navy entry. It was a Nicholson 55. And in this first Whitbread, there was a lot of standard production boats there. There were some one-offs, but it wasn't super high-tech. They were really boats that already existed. There was a couple specially built. So the Adventure class is boats 47 through to 55 feet in production boats. So you could go and buy a Nauta Swan. Okay, we will, and we've listed all them in the website and so on, what is actually currently approved. Then the next class, the what we call the Sayula class, named after the winner of the first Whitbread, and that was a standard production Nauta Swan 65 that Ramon, a Mexican, bought and crewed it with his family and went in and just had no experience before really at ocean racing, blew this establishment right out the window and won the race, which was fantastic. So, and that's from boats from 55 feet up to 65 feet. So you can go and buy a Swan 65 if you wanted to. You could go and buy a Swan 58, you know, any of the Swans that fit that bracket, but they've got to be designed and first built prior to 1988. So it's none of the current model ones. It's got to be the early ones. They've all been built solidly, of course. Nauta Swans are classic, but those ones particularly, there's plenty of them around and they've all been looked after and so on. We will look at other designs as well, but they've got to be good designs. They've got to be similar sail area displacement, and they've got to be with you know, a very good condition, you might say. So then the final class, this is where it gets really interesting, is any Whitbread boat from the first 3 editions of the Whitbread that's previously entered can re-enter the race. Now there's a lot of them still still sailing. They've all been refitted. They're in really good condition. You've probably seen about Maiden, with Tracy Edwards. You may know that some of the flyers have been redone. The first flyer was sailed as Alaska Eagle for a long time. I think she was for sale for a while. Ceramco's just been bought and sent back to Australia. All of those boats could re-enter. But two of the Penduics, Eric Taberley's boat, an amazing story with Penduic 6 in the first Whitbread with a spent uranium keel, was sort of disqualified. It was very controversial at the time. Penduic 3 also was in that first race, so both of those Penduics could sail again. So, and the flyers, the Flyer 2 could come back and race again. So what you may see, and it'll be up to the owners of these boats, but what you may see is a retake on the first edition. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But the important one is that it's really affordable for anyone now. And then the retro nature is such that to keep the prices down and to keep the challenge real, you're working on a sextant. Okay, there's no GPSs allowed. You're not allowed to have any super high-tech instruments. You can have basic instruments. You want to listen to music, you got to listen to cassette tape players. All your iPhones for the crew and the computers, they'll be sealed in a bag just before the start, and you can't open the bag again until you get to the port of the next leg. So there's a lot of interesting retro challenges there. You have the restrictions on sails. You can only have 11 sails if you're a sloop rig. You have 13 if you're a ketch rig. They've all got to be Dacron. There's no high-tech fibres, no high-tech ropes, no nothing, which keeps the price down and increases the challenge. You've even got to keep your sails on board all the way, because when Connie went round in Flyer, incredible hero, I used to really admire that guy. On Flyer 2, I think it was, he had 25 sails, and if they were popping sails, they'd get all new ones in every leg. You have 11 sails to go around the world, and if you need a new sail in a port, it's going to cost you a 24-hour time penalty. So people have to think smart about the way they sail the boats. Safety is second to none. We'll have world's best practice on safety gear. There'll be no question about that. And even with man overboard, there's no GPS, but there will be all the usual AIS beacons, full GPS chart plotters and so on, and they'll be sealed with an alarm door. And 2 people on the boat, we call them the MOB men, are authorised to keep checking that every day to make sure it's working. All the crew are trained on it. It just means at the start of the race, that alarm door is shut and only 2 people check it every day to make sure it's working. So we've got all the bases covered there. And the big thing about being retro is it just adds all the pleasure and challenge to the entrants. They're the ones that are going to feel good about saying, hey, this sextant thing really works. We know where we are, without using a GPS. It just the satisfaction levels increase dramatically. So yeah, all kind of fun, and we'll keep you updated. It's only 4 years away, and that will go just like that. I mean, we're announcing it now. These are the first moments, and I've got to say, it looks like one person just bought a boat today already to enter the race, which is incredible. We did a few teasers, and there's a lot of things happening in the background. People are getting very excited. It's not for everyone, but those that get involved are going to love it, and I'm sure there'll be a huge following. So, those who are watching this, welcome to the Ocean Globe family. Getting to be a tongue twister, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're certainly real excited to present it, and look forward to having you along for the ride. Thanks a lot. See you later.